We've got a 12 grand water bill that we've got to pay. I was moving our RO system. Don't admit this on camera, but I'm going to. I drilled through a 3-phase power that was coming into our unit, Blew my drill up, nearly electrocuted myself. Jesus. That was a 4 grand bill straight away. And I was like, look, I'm at my depth here.
Hello and welcome to the Filthy Clean pod. I think this is number 4, so welcome. And today we're actually joined by Max Merritt from Links Window Cleaning.
Hello, Max.
Hello, Max. This is the first time we've actually had a guest on the podcast. And Max reached out to us when I put it out on LinkedIn, I believe, and said it'd be good if you joined us as a guest. So here we are today. We've got a lot to talk about. Max is a fellow window cleaner. It is exterior cleaning.
Yeah, we do a full range of exterior cleaning now.
Okay, so so Max is, I believe you started 4 years ago, 2020.
Yeah.
We're just here to talk about Max's journey, see about maybe the difficulties that he has, the ambitions he has, and just go from there. So, welcome.
Thank you very much. And I am so nervous. Like I said before, I did attempt a podcast when I first started, but it was no way as professional as this. It was in the bedroom on my phone or on a laptop.
It's the same thing. It's just a few microphones and a few cameras. But
full force, very professional.
We were all a little bit nervy the first time we done it as well, and obviously, like anything, it gets easier the more you do it. Just imagine all the viewers naked. We'll be all right.
Okay, so I suppose it'd be good to get an introduction from yourself, and like we say, you're obviously from Links Window Cleaning, but if you can maybe just give us more of a background of who you are and an introduction.
Yeah, sure. So I started Links Window Cleaning in 2020, just on the brink of COVID starting. So it turned out that I was actually all right starting in COVID, but I'd never done any exterior cleaning, any window cleaning before. And what kind of led me into starting the company was I was at a point in my life where I was in pretty bad mental health state, and I was looking for an escape, and I was looking for something that would keep me close to home, so I could be at home at night. And obviously, I needed something that I could start at a low skill base, because I'd pretty much always been employed throughout my whole life. And window cleaning was probably like the fastest thing that I could start. Get a van, get a water-fed pole off Facebook, and then I started cleaning windows. I didn't do any door knocking. I did it all through social media. And luckily, I feel kind of guilty saying that COVID helped, but everyone was at home.
We had it,
Loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was a make or a break for a lot of companies. Fortunately, people, I think, in the cleaning industry were people that did benefit from that lockdown. Because
the ones that actually got out and done it, I mean, that was the thing, wasn't it? A lot of people were stay at home, and that they were. Yeah, well, we knew very quickly that we could do it safely, we could do it effectively.
And there was no law against it for us as well, because
No,
it was one man per van, and we were offering a cleaning solution.
Yeah.
We were out fogging local areas, free of charge. We were not fogging. What would you call it?
Well, sanitising.
Yeah. So we sanitising local areas, bus stops, outside shops, hospitals. A few of our customers asked us to go around to elderly neighbours' houses or their parents' houses and sort of sanitise the fronts of their houses and things like that. So it built a lot of traction for us. So
I think
it's not.
I think as well, within COVID hitting it, probably lucky is because a lot of people were at home. We found a lot of people had a lot more money to actually spend.
Yeah.
And that's where we started roof cleaning around there, was it?
Yeah, and it went mental.
It went mental, and a lot of people just seemed to. Yeah, I suppose because they weren't going on holiday and they were at home and everything else, they were spending a lot of time in their homes. They were spending it on it. So just saying, we found it a very good time for business anyway. And
I think builders did very well as well around that time, because people just weren't on holiday. They weren't spending it in going out on the weekends on clothes and stuff. Obviously, Amazon did very well as well. But the window cleaner went hand in hand, because they were looking out their office window and they had the time to either come out to see the van and say, could you do mine as well? Could you add us onto the round? Or just make that call, whereas normally they might be in an office environment. They haven't got time to do all their checklist of chores that need doing, ringing a window cleaner. So it did really help. That being said, it helped because my plan was to target all the kind of commercial businesses in my area in Lincolnshire of the contacts that I had. but they were all closed.
I was about to say that's a good time to start.
So I had to shift my kind of mindset, because I think every window cleaner thinks, oh, the commercial's where the money's at. I mean, in hindsight now, it's probably 50-50, and it swings and roundabouts probably which is more profitable and which isn't. But yeah, all of the commercials were closed, so it went straight to residential, and we just built solely residential in that COVID period. And
how quickly did you build?
I mean, we were lucky through organic. I didn't really have any marketing spend in terms of leaflets, billboards, or any of the stuff we do now, Google ads. I literally was just organic. I didn't do any canvassing. I was really strongly against canvassing. I didn't believe in it. I had a real strong fixed mindset on going, I will never be a canvassing company. I hate it when someone knocks on my door. That's totally changed now anyway, or recently, as we've started to kind of grow. As well, I didn't know much about Facebook ads, but I had the time, because I had no customers. I had the time to learn, go on YouTube and start doing a few Facebook ads. Now, that was before that kind of big change of data change where you can't specifically target certain people.
Okay.
I think it was a law that Apple did. They got sued, and Facebook ads totally changed. It was really cheap at the beginning, and then it just went really expensive to get leads. And I've kind of re-educated myself again, and we've started to do Facebook ads again now. But at the beginning, it was just organic and Facebook ads, the odd customer.
It sounds like you've done well. I mean, over 4 years, you're up to 4 or 5 vans now, you know?
Yeah, so we've got 4 full-time exterior cleaners. We've got a canvasser that works in-house for us. And we've got myself and my wife, who I run the company with now. Again, it was just me at the start. And kind of as we had my daughter, and she kind of pulled off from her employment and then just came and worked for the business as well. So it kind of fits our lifestyle.
Because I just know that a lot of window cleaners struggle. I mean, I struggled myself when I first started to just get it over that part of actually being able to make a wage, you know?
Yeah.
Probably took me about 18 months, something like that, to get a livable wage, you know? It was really, really difficult. And I know that there's a lot out there, and I know, you know, we've got the new wave of window cleaners now that fill up at the spot list. It's all much more accessible. But, you know, I do talk to a lot of window cleaners. I'm very active on Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not very much in the background.
Yeah.
But it does seem to me that a lot of guys that start out really struggle to at least get to that point of having a full round, you know? So sounds like you've done really well.
Yeah, I bought a couple of small rounds as well. I mean, in hindsight, they were underpriced. I was just a total newbie to it, you know? I was just... you learn so much health and safety wise, buying work wise. Even now, it's just every day is a learning day. It really is. They're just bigger problems, you know, bigger learning.
We know that one.
Definitely know that one, yeah.
But yeah, it is. It's just, I think my brother actually said it when he come to join me that, bigger the business, bigger the problems. I don't know, something or other, some were, but it is true, you know. It's you think you kind of get over a hurdle, and you're going to get, you know, that's all going to be sorted. That's going to be good. Everything's going to ease up. But yeah, just at every point you come up to.
You jump a hurdle and hit a wall on the other side of it, isn't it? There's always something. There's always a challenge. There's always a problem. Yeah. Now they're amplified massively. The more vans you got out there, and the more people you got working for you.
I think one of the things. I don't really read at all, but I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I've listened to The Virgin Way by Richard Branson, and he's such, one of the lines in there was, you know, he's running, we think this is hard running this size business, so he's running 5-6 multi-billion pound companies. He's not stressing out about Mrs. Jones's plant pot that's been knocked over. You've just got to build an ability.
The dude has got a lot of money though.
Yeah, I know. He's like 50 levels above that or whatever, 1,000 levels, but he's got to deal with when there's a death or a train's crashed and 20 people have died. And he's got people dealing with that. So his problems are there still. They're just bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's just learning that ability to deal with it and have the systems in place to deal with it and make sure you comply.
And the people as well. You got to, I mean, we try and sort of not stop stuff from getting to Steve, but there's a chain of people underneath that should be able to deal with them problems before it gets to that point, to you or to Steve.
That's the size that we built up to. I mean, again, you know, going as I've said before in previous podcasts, it's, you know, I've done everything from the ground up, and we spoke about this out there. Like, you genuinely like window cleaning, you know. You've done it for years. It's something that was a good trade for you. But for me, I hated it. You know, I'd done it because I had to do it, because I knew the business I wanted. But, you know, from there, then obviously, got to the point, my first point was being able to afford a full-time window cleaner and be able to take myself away to then become the second man to build up the second.
Yeah, is that balance. That first bit, I think, is the hardest, definitely.
Well,
it's
all difficult, honestly. Like Rory said there, now, thankfully, we've got into a position where I've been able to really sort of make myself redundant in some respects, but it doesn't mean I don't do anything. Of course, I'm always working on the business and trying to build it, but I don't really get involved in necessarily the operations side, which Rory does, and obviously you got the scheduling side and the sort of customer service side, which Chris does. But you're kind of delegating, but it doesn't mean to say the problems aren't there. You know, we're always dealing with problems. It's just how we do it. But like we say, bigger the business, bigger the problems, without a doubt. And you'll find that out on your journey. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've got your family who you work with as well, and so have we. So.
I think you said something about your brother earlier.
Yeah,
so are you partners or anything, or is it your business?
My wife is a director as well.
Okay.
And that threw in challenges at the beginning, because I thought when I brought her in as a director, she's going to think like me, she's going to be on the level that I'm at, she's going to know the problem, she's going to learn fast, because she's really intelligent, she's got a massive skill set, but it's totally different to mine. So it was hard at the beginning. One thing I'm so lucky for, though, is at the beginning when time, and even now when times get hard, she's there by my side to actually battle through it. So when, the bank account does get minimal, or we've got to not go on holiday this year actually, or I'm just lucky that she is on board with a supportive wife.
I have that with my own wife,
Because if basically without her, if there was we've got to go on holiday, this is rubbish, we're not doing that, the business wouldn't exist almost really, because it just wouldn't work.
I'm totally there with you. I mean, I've said that I've put my family through so much to get to where I've got to, because there's some Christmases that were quiet. We haven't gone on a holiday. I've had my own anxiety and stress issues, so I've not been the best supporting father sometimes. And do you know what I mean? But at the same time, having that sort of solid family unit, and my wife has always been there supporting me. She's always been a cheerleader, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're lucky. We're grateful for that.
Totally grateful for that. So, what difficulties do you face?
Yeah, so if we're going to the immediate last couple of weeks, it's obviously, I don't know, obviously when people are watching this, but it's just been Christmas, so naturally we have a little bit of annual leave, our whole company does. So cash flow goes down a little bit then, and you've got to have the reserves there to pay for annual leave. That's one thing we really try and do, is give the guys some time off over Christmas. But we've gone back into 2 weeks of frozen systems. We're creating ice if we're cleaning windows. All of our pumps are frozen. One of the lads put a generator in the back of his van to warm it up, which blew the head gasket or whatever it is on it. So that blew that up. We've had leaking pipes. We've had 2 engines. We've had a radiator go on a van. We've had a van that's got 50,000 miles on it. The head gasket's gone on that as well, and we've got 5 years finance left on it. So there's some immediate kind of cash flow issue just coming out of this period, because we wanted to keep the guys cleaning to keep that cash flow coming in, but he's got to be safe as well. So they're taking grit bins, they're taking a bag of grit with them, and if it's unsafe, then they can't do it. No ladder work whatsoever. That's a minimal anyway. But even then, we've had to be buying water off. We supply water to other window cleaners from our unit. We have a fob system, and we've got some big tanks. But for the last month, we've had a leak underground down the road, so that's made our water pressure really low. But then with this frozen weather that we've had, and this is the first time the supplier's ever had it. The steel casing that you get on the RO membrane?
Yeah.
It's took me three days to figure out. I've been on the phones from multiple companies. The ice, so even though it's in our unit, our reverse osmosis system, the ice is misshapen that steel casing. So rather than the water going down the middle of your RO and going through all the bits of paper to filter it out, it's been going on the outside. So I couldn't get my water below 300. And I was on the phones, we're changing membranes, and they're 250, 300 quid each. Tried a couple of them, tried all the pre-filters in the middle of trying to change the pre-filters. I've ruined the seals, and it must have been, even though it's in a unit, that it's got frozen over that Christmas period when it wasn't used. And in the meantime, a brand new pair of trainers got drenched. So
Let's
I
get to the real problem.
I put them in the dryer. And then for 2 minutes, my missus went, "Don't put them in the dryer because you'll ruin them." I was like, 2 minutes, they'll be fine, you know. I've come out and they're like a duck. They're just, but the soles have come off them.
Shrunk.
I didn't realise until I was driving to work, and then I dropped my phone and broke my phone. And as you know, you need your phone when you're running a business, and it's just the last week or so 2 vans down, all the ice issues we've actually operational, and then the war, it has been stressful.
We've always said though that the winter sorts the men from the boys.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
You know, and I'm talking obviously about getting out there and actually cleaning it, but it's not just that, as you rightly say, is that, especially as you get bigger, like, you know, to the size that we're at, it's been difficult getting through the frozen conditions, isn't it?
Even with, I mean, all of our, or the majority, there's a couple of vans that haven't, but the majority of our vans have got diesel heaters in the back of them.
Yeah.
So it's just a case, the guys get up in the morning, as soon as they wake up, turn the diesel heater on or set it, and then by the time they've come here, filled up in the morning and gone off to work, they should be fine. But no, some of the heaters that go down.
Yeah, there's that, or it trips the electrics because you're blasting that heat.
Last week was just a problem week. There's one day when you came in, when I think you posted about it on LinkedIn. Actually.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I was just, I could have pulled my hair out. Like every time I put the phone down to one problem that I've maybe sorted out, I'd have another call.
That's how my week's
my van's frozen, or we had a clutch go. Another van broke down in Northampton that we had to get recovered. Another guy was defrosted when he left the unit, and by the time he got to St. Neots, he was frozen again. He didn't get started till about 12 o'clock, 12:30. And that was, I'd got here at 6 o'clock in the morning, and for the first 2.5 hours, it went like that. But I was walking kettles backwards and forwards trying to get hoses.
We've done it.
It was an absolute nightmare. So this week's
on the plus side, like, because I bought into the fact that it was a disaster day, thinking we ain't going to do any money whatsoever, and we've done about 70% of the money, the turnover of that day in the end. Because we had a lot of lads that stayed out late, didn't they?
Yeah, when you've got a solid team.
You know, and so that, because I bought into the fact that it was a disaster day because his phone was going. I was still getting involved a little bit with like recovery and stuff like that because I've got the contacts. But it was just, like I say, at the end of the day, you know, once we got through it, it wasn't actually that bad. But the winter is a testing time, and you are right. Like we had similar, you know, you come up to Christmas. So essentially we normally got 21 to 23 trading days, depending on the size of the month.
Yeah.
And I think because we now work between Christmas and New Year because we just simply can't stop because we lose too much money.
Yeah.
And the size, we used to break up completely, didn't we, between Christmas and New Year.
Rory time.
Rory time. Up until about 3 or 4 years ago, but it just got to the point where, you know, because we're turning over so much a day, you know, every day is critical. So, you know, we have problems. Obviously, funds definitely got low over Christmas, as they do. We obviously give our lads a bonus because obviously they've worked hard all year. So you're spending more, not making as much. Very hard to fill that gap.
Come back and everything blows up.
Exactly. So
it helps the guys as well because I mean, even though it's nice and we all look forward to that Christmas break, some of the guys want to be earning that extra money, so they'll come in and get earn their extra. Yeah,
with all respect to my team as well. Like you said, all my team have helped and cracked on and soldiered it through. And
that's
if
good.
you think as a business owner, it's all on us, and it is. But when you've got them behind you as well, it does really help. And one thing you mentioned there with. You had some contacts. I want to give a shout out to Bailey's Water Fed Pole Systems because he was literally on the phone, you know, supplying these membranes at night, actually talking me through it, diagnosing it. And most companies wouldn't actually do that. They'd just like, contact me at 9 o'clock, mate. So shout out to him, and then a shout out to a local window cleaner, Ben Savage Window Cleaning. He helped me with the water. You know, he didn't have to do that. He's actually done that out of the goodness of his heart and kept my team running basically.
Yeah.
So do you find, when you said you had some contacts, who you was able to contact it? Is that like relationships that you built? Is it suppliers? Who is it who's helped you with that? Is it mechanics or?
Well, no, just because obviously we had a van that broke down. So, for instance, we needed to get a van recovered. We've actually got recovery on pretty much all of our vehicles.
Yeah.
We don't get recovery on our brand new vehicles because they normally come with their own recovery. But this particular van was an oversight, which is our oldest one. Then I realised that, damn, that wasn't covered. So I've just got numbers from years ago, just different guys that can go recover it and stuff like that. So because what we found was it needed to be recovered urgently. the first one you rung said he couldn't get there for a couple of days or something. I can't remember.
He'd gone off down to Wales or something on a recovery.
Then there was another one that I rung, and he couldn't get there for 24 hours. So it was just that really, getting into that. But yeah, I mean, there are some great suppliers out there, as you say, and there's not so great suppliers. But I'm not here to throw mud. But it's. But you'll be surprised, I think, as well, how many window cleaners will actually help out other window cleaners, definitely. As long as they're not arseholes, you know. I had it when I had a van stolen many years ago. I had suppliers offering me free poles, and I think Pure Freedom, where I got the system off at the time, they done me a reduction on the second system I had to have installed because it got ripped out of there. You know, there's some genuinely good people that will help you when you're on your arse, so to speak, and that's good, you know.
I do think then the bigger we're getting, relationships outside of our little kind of unit they're massive. They are in every sense. So things like this, when we need to use other services, and then just building your network anyway in terms of sales and customers and business to business, and then it's just all one big is relationships, isn't it? You've got to be out there making as many contacts as you can. At
the end of the day, if you're wrong with people or nasty with people, you're not going to get very far, are you? You know. And we've always just I've always concentrated on growth and development, and I know that there's some people out there that want to throw mud at you and stuff, but you just let them get on with it and do what they want to do.
You're always going to get haters, aren't you? You know, people that don't like to see you. I mean, going back to what you were saying about other window cleaners helping out and that, if there does tend to be a little bit of rivalry sometimes, but that would be with maybe sometimes the guys that are out cleaning the windows, not with the management of the directors of the companies. But we used to see it like I'd be cleaning a window or whatever in an estate maybe we've not long started cleaning, or an area we've not long started cleaning, and you get a shady window cleaner come up to you like, what are you doing here, or this is my area, or
we've had
or
that.
You get the odd, but they're generally just a one-man band, and an idiot really. We had that, I won't mention any names or places, but there was one guy that was started following our guys around in a particular area, trying to intimidate our guys.
Oh, really?
Literally like following them around every house he'd stop out and just sit there in his van staring at them, and followed one of them into a petrol station. Actually offered him outside the petrol station for a one-on-one.
What? And he's an employee, just cleaning windows, earning a wage.
Ours was an employee. Obviously, he was the owner of his company.
So
it's crazy.
So you do get it, but I know that if anyone was to contact Steve or Chris from another company, we help out other companies anyway.
We do. Yeah.
There's a couple that borrow bits of equipment off of us or whatever. And if you can help each other out, we're all in the same game, and there's plenty of windows out there for everybody. So.
That's what I always say, you know, like how many houses are actually in a 40-mile radius? It's too many. Like we'd never be able to, even if we wanted to clean every single house.
I'll have a go though, won't we?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I'd like to, but operationally it'd just be impossible.
That's it. I mean, we've never... I think in all the time that I've been doing this, I had one other company ring me once to say that our canvasser was going out and basically saying, does your window cleaner use ladders? And if they said yes, he would say, do you know it's illegal? And try and poach them. We didn't know this. We didn't instruct them to do that. They were just doing it off their own back. And had an upset guy ring me up, as you would understand, that he thought we were just trying to poach all his customers. But thankfully, other than that, we've not really had any other issues with anyone else. I mean, we hear rumours, but we don't care about all that crap. You know?
I don't focus on that.
No, we just focus on our business. And I've always said as well, if you're focusing on, say, us as a competitor, you're not looking at your own business. Look at your own business and look at how you can improve that. Because for me, I'm 3 miles down the road while you're trying to chase my tail, you know?
Yeah.
And that's not me just blowing my own trumpet. I just think it is, you know? Just concentrate on yourself and just keep moving forward. Don't worry about all the others, all the naysayers and stuff. So, but definitely to build a support system and to have good contacts, of course it helps, you know? It's a big thing, but
Yeah, one of the things, like, we're really, when we go back to relationships again, that's... like that you just said there with your canvasser, it's just having that relationship with your canvasser to go, look, you're throwing us under the bus here, change that, because then it can affect your
if you've got someone out there, that's the thing, because we've used canvassing companies for years, you know, they are out there as RedClean, you know, they're out there representing. So of course it's an external canvassing company. obviously the canvassers, they work on commission, so they're going to try and do what they can do to get the sale. But like you rightly say, you know, they're still representing you. I mean, we've had all sorts of stuff where we've had someone pop up on a Ring doorbell on a group, and they're, you know, going into one. Do you know this person? Do you know why they're here? And
you know,
it's
I've not had that yet, but I've seen a few of them. This person's just knocked on my door. That's why I was always against canvassing, that kind of bad press that goes with it.
But the thing, again, what we've always done is if we see that or we're told about that, I would just be straight on there explaining who we are. Any problems, this is our number. We're all approachable. You can see us all over the internet. We're not like a mobile number with no address that you can't trace, you know.
Yeah, they'll always have uniform as well. Any canvassers that go out for us will have a clear RedClean logo on their tops or hoodies or whatever they're wearing. So they're us. Yeah,
but like you say, they're out there representing you. So to the best of your ability, you want to make sure that they're representing you correctly, you know.
On the canvassing front, it is one of the fastest ways to grow. I know we've just had a conversation about it. You do get more cancellations and
massively
a lower quality of kind of customer that's going to stay with you and not cause issue. And that's because they're being sold.
So have you not done any canvassing yet?
So we've started. I used a company that is really good and quite local, Connect Canvassing, and again, at first I was questioning, going, why am I getting cancellations? But that's because for 4 years, all I've done is had golden customers, the best ones. So I had a Google ad, they've come through Google. So the customer's actually gone onto Google and typed in, I need a window cleaner or I need my roof cleaning. They're a golden customer. They're actively looking for it. Like they normally always come through. And then we did leaflet drops. Again, really, the conversion rate compared to how many leaflets you send out it is lower. But if a customer has taken the time to read a leaflet, physically type in a number, they've converted already. So they stay with you. With canvassing, which it was just an alien way of marketing for me. First, I was already kind of pre-negative to it because I personally didn't agree with it. I had a fixed mindset and I would never do it. So I tried it. I thought, you know, it is a big thing in our industry, canvassing. It's got to be doing something. And then after free cleans, they were cancelling. So then I'm questioning the canvasser. But we've done it in-house. We've tried other companies, and it is the same. It is just you are going to get a bigger cancellation rate. There's no.
I don't care what anyone says. I've had, I don't know. We must have employed 15, 20, I don't know, different canvassing companies in the last 20 years. We've had everything from like a little one-man band to the next person wants to rule the world in the canvassing industry. We've had canvassers accuse us of not doing the job correctly, not cleaning correctly. Yada, yada, yada. You know, we've got Rory that goes out and checks people's work. We've got guys that have been with us a long, long time. You can see from our Google reviews that we don't have bad window cleans, you know.
That's a good point.
So we know a thing about canvassing and like I say, I have many conversations about this all the time. For us, it's about whittling down to the good customers. So We've had so many conversations about the leaflet route or the Google route for us. We've spent a good bit of money, but it's just nowhere near. It costs us so much money to get a customer. Yeah. Yes, it's a golden customer. Yeah. But when you weigh it up, it just costs far too much.
Yeah.
That's you know that's the crux of it really. But when it comes back to canvassing, it is instant. It's on the door. Exactly. But what I love about it is it's just compact. You know. Yeah. So we've got. As we say, 15 vans. I don't know how many customers we've got now because we're adding all the time, but we cover a sort of a 30-minute drive from base is kind of where the dynamic is. And from my understanding, to have that amount of vans in that short a space, I don't think many people are doing that. I know of others that are, you know, covering a massive radius, but for me, I don't know how you service that, because if Mrs. Jones is complaining that you've missed a windowsill and you're not back there for 4 weeks or 8 weeks, you know, we're back out there within a couple of days or whatever it is.
2 days maximum.
Yeah, and we're there to sort it out. Yeah. So, and then it doesn't affect our daily stuff. It doesn't affect our online presence. It doesn't affect our I can't think of the word, but it's much more. Yeah, it's just much better for us now. Obviously. We've just increased our prices. We want to increase our prices. And we know that there's others out there that would do the flyer thing that probably are getting a bit more money. But our argument's always been we can easily smash 25 to 28 houses within 6 hours. Because they're so close. Sometimes we have to skip over a few villages or a few miles, but 9 times out of 10 it's quite condensed, isn't it? So it's all achievable, you know. So that's the model that we've gone for. But yeah, when it does come down to canvassing, you know, for us, within a 6-month period, we could lose 30-40%, you know. So my argument always is with a canvasser, it's guaranteed for 3 months, but we lose too much because as soon as you hit that 3-month point, you have a massive drop off.
We did notice that as well.
We've had our 3 cleans now.
I've got to reiterate as well though, for Connect canvassing there, they did do a great job, especially on the compactness, and it makes such a difference because you can get more out, even if it was like £1 cheaper. The fact that you're not having to travel 5 miles down the road, but the main issue I have with it was the cash flow. I didn't have 3 times before that lead came in. So that at the level I'm at with 4/5 vans on the road,
we have it as
the
well.
Cash flow on canvassing, they're an expensive lead where you're paying before you've got it, and it's hard. But it swings and roundabouts because they're so compact, it's so good. And then if you just start adding them neighbours in,
we said I just had a canvasser in this morning, the guy we're using at the moment, and that was my exact point. So he's obviously got the idea in his head. I can't comment too much on this because I've got to go back and research it, and that's what I'm doing this weekend. But he had a figure in his head of what we would get back per customer per year. But I'm saying, but you're not allowing for the amount that drop off after the free clean period. So yes, if everyone stayed for that year's period, of course we would have that, and it makes sense. But you're not allowing for the fact that you're only guaranteeing it for free, which you think in your head is good because we're just replacing that all the time. Well, no, you're not, because as soon as we get past the 3-month period, that's where the drop-off happens, and then that's what you're paying for. So very quickly, I've worked it out before that I believe we don't make any money off of any canvassing for a 12-month period.
Yeah, do you know what? It could be about right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's all front-loaded.
Yeah.
Now, if we look at like our BDM route, you know, John, who's been with us 3 years, I'm not going to say the figure that that he's turning over, but let's just say it's a lot. And I'm going to just pick a figure of 100,000. It's not that. It's easy to work out. But if we paid John, if he brought in 100,000, and for percentage rate, say we paid him 15 grand out of that, obviously it's going to be a lot more than that, and he's bringing a lot more than that. But you've got to understand that we've now got 100,000 in revenue in that 12-month period where we've only paid 15 grand out for it. You've got the headroom of 85k or whatever it is.
That makes total sense.
To say that's now back in the bin. Of course, you've got your costs, you've got your guys, you've got your petrol, your fuel, your insurance, all the running costs. And that's what I'm saying is when I've worked it out before within the domestic market, once you've taken all that into account, the 3 times that you say, we get it cheaper than that, because 3 times for me is far too much, purely because we know the drop off of it, and we're trying to get it as cheap as possible. Not obviously trying to outdo anyone, but at the same time we know the model. And if you want to work with us, then we need to get that cheaper, because it just simply doesn't stack up, because as you've rightly said, it's all front loaded. So if we've got a budget of say 15 grand a month, 20 grand a month going to a canvasser, that's a lot of money to find. And I know we're turning over some good money, but it's still a lot of money to find. And then as soon as you think, okay, well, we can just stop that for a couple of months, you can't, because you've got all of them canvas jobs that you've got that are now dropping off. And if you don't keep adding to that, they need replacing. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a constant turnover of things. So I think this is where canvassers get it wrong, because in their head, they believe that it's only 3 times, you're going to make X amount, this amount. It doesn't work out that way, because the drop-off is too severe. And because the drop-off is too severe, and especially when you don't just work for yourself as a one-man band and you're now employing, you've got to take off VAT, you've got to take off PAYE, all the running costs, it's all front-loaded. So I understand your
It is a challenge. It is a challenge. And we've tried, I've tried to do it in-house, but again, there's a reason that you
it's bloody difficult.
It's hard. There's a reason you go external.
I've had a few tries over the years, and it's just hard. Very, very hard. It's a job in itself, without a doubt. And it takes a certain person to be able to do it and to get them all motivated and to get them all out there. It's tough.
Yeah, it is, but it's part of growth and it's part of learning. One question I was going to ask you guys is, we went big last year on the roof cleaning, and I've kind of pulled it off a little bit from it. So we did the courses. I went and worked, some other shout outs, for free to learn how to do it with Clean Core. I don't know if you've heard of them guys, with Chad.
Yeah, I have actually.
Yeah, he taught me, great guy, very experienced. That's all they do pretty much full time is pressure washing, exterior cleaning. And Solaris, Ben and Dobby. Great guys,
I know Dobby,
really helped. Loads of experience helps out. And what I don't like about the roof cleaning is, I mean, you're in a position where you've got yourself team leaders, but as a small team, there's a lot higher risk in terms of we're using stronger chemicals, we're working at height, there's more damage. You know, if you break one pane of glass, is different to flooding someone's roof or whatever can happen with the roof cleaning. And the business kind of stunted in growth because I was out doing all the quotes myself. So I was getting leads in and then going out and doing the quotes, and you know, I might convert 3 out of 10, but I've spent 2 days on the road. So we've kind of, and when I looked at the gross profit margins, it's like you make 1 or 2% more on roof cleaning than window cleaning. And window cleaning, I don't have to go and do any quotes. It's low risk, so I don't need to be watching them and making sure that everyone's health and safety. Obviously, they are health and safety compliant, but it's a lot lower risk in terms of things that can go wrong. So, yeah, how have you kind of balanced? How do you justify the roof cleaning? Like, how does it work for you? Because for me, it's a massive, just.
We've actually said this a few times over the years, haven't we? Yeah. I've said to you many times, people think it's a big ticket item. We actually earn more window cleaning than we did.
Yeah, I mean, we're 2% more.
We did.
Yeah.
Than, you know, where we were at the time. But yeah, window cleaning for me, and we've said it over and over, it's the best in the business. It's the best service we've got. It just churns out money day after day after day. It's regular, so you can schedule what you've got coming in. Roof cleaning, it's all one-off stuff you're chasing, so there's no repeat business there. So the biggest thing for me was when we when we added more services from window cleaning, it was how do I know that I'm trusting someone to go do that without me breathing down their neck, you know? Yeah. And I think I've talked about this on another podcast that even with Rory, you know, Rory's been with me a long time, and it got to a point where there was the Buckingham Foods job. And that was the first time I'd left you to do something, wasn't it, where it involved a lift, it involved getting a big job done on your own. And, you know, and then it worked out fine. And then obviously I could sort of trust Rory more, and we built more around that, you know. So it was, in terms of the roof cleaning, we made sure that the lads were all trained correctly. So they all went on to the soft wash course with Chris Cloak, just for the safe use of chemicals, really. They're all PASMA trained, so they all, you know, can use towers. But yeah, I mean, we're not going to lie, there was some mistakes at first, wasn't there? The guys were learning on the job. Rory you weren't quite operations then, was you? Or remember?
It led to that though, didn't it? I mean, it got to the point where, I mean, the quotes that were coming in, the leads that were coming in, it was just, there were loads, because it was through COVID. We hit the roof clean at that time. So
great time to start.
The roof clean was an extra. So the windows were still running all the time behind that. So originally it was an extra job. So it was just, you could pull a couple of guys off the windows, get them up on the roof. So it was its own sort of thing, wasn't it? It weren't.
The thing was with roof cleaning, like you say, we hit it. Then it was a very say tricky time really over COVID. So what we found was 2020, when lockdown happened, like Rory said, roof cleans were flying in, and we were able to train some guys, made some mistakes, underpriced stuff, didn't make any money here, you know, made all them mistakes that you make with a new service. But for me, from a business perspective, it's like, right, this is great. Let's get 2 teams on the road.
I know, it's shiny penny, isn't it? You want to just go for it. It's new, it's exciting.
And it's easy, you know, there's some, you know, obviously, like I say, we weren't making the money we were at first, but, you know, once we developed it and we understood it, that's cool, let's go for that. Then in 2021, when everyone started going back out and holidaying and everything else, it just went, and it was at that point I realised that we can't bank on this as it's just an extra, it's just a cream, you know? It's not a service for us that we could do like full-time as a business, so to speak, you know. But what we have found, though, in the last sort of 4 years, I mean, our prices have gone up tremendously. People are finding us through YouTube videos, stuff like that. So we've got a lot more trust with people. So we're able to charge a higher price, because we're definitely finding now on Google, and John's up with this challenge as well, so many people are charging silly prices that, you know, sometimes we're just way out of the picture.
Oh no,
you know?
that's what I mean. We got to a stage where I was doing quotes, and I'm thinking they're quarter of the price. We can't justify that when you need 2 men, and we can earn that on the windows easily with no. It just didn't make any sense.
No, we have our sort of daily target, and I went blank there. I knew what I was going to say.
No, you're right.
About the prices for the roof cleaning.
Yeah.
Compared to.
So obviously, when you're up against one man and his mate going around to clean a roof that's going to take a day, and they're quite happy to 150 quid each or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we put in our price to hit our target, sort of. And how can you compete with that? You know, they might be doing it exactly the same way as us. Who knows if they're using the same chemical?
Well, with a team, you've got to be health and safety compliant as well.
What I found is, I mean, there is definitely some decent one-man band people out there, and I know they're cheaper than us. Fair play to them. They do a good job. They're out there. They're obviously providing for their families, whatever they're doing, cool. But from our perspective, you're right. We need the headroom. We're employers. But from our perspective, if something goes wrong, we're fully insured. We back everything up. We go out there. Thankfully, we've never had massive problems, have we?
No, nothing.
I think we've had one guy accuse us once of flooding his roof, but it just so happened that we had the worst storm possible 24 hours the night before. So obviously it didn't go anywhere because he couldn't prove that it was us.
The insurers went round there, didn't they? They said that.
And that was the only sort of real big problem we've had, haven't we? We've had little niggles, you know, biocide not taken to it or whatever it is. But
killed my tomato plants. That was one we had, wasn't it?
I can't remember. Oh, but that wasn't correct.
Shout out to Pro Green actually. We was getting our chemicals from Pro Green. This gentleman that we'd done his bungalow roof, and we'd actually disconnected the hoses, the gutters. Sorry, I disconnected all his water butts. Told him not to put them in for a good sort of week, 2 weeks afterwards, just to let everything that's going to sort of drain off of the roof to be evaporated. Anyway, he had a tomato or a vegetable patch down one side of his house, and he sent us a picture of all these tomatoes that were green and sort of rotten, but then there was a couple of plants in there that weren't. Blamed it all on us, obviously. It was us. We must have done it because of the chemical we'd used on the roof. So I went back to Pro Green. I just asked them their advice, and in no uncertain terms, it was not us. They're like, there's no way the chemical would have, if it would have killed him, it would have killed him from the root. And they'd all be collapsed. It wouldn't be like they started rotting at the top and working its way. So they helped us out. Again, they've helped us out quite a few times.
Yeah, and again, that's what you're talking about with having good relationships with suppliers.
It's massive.
And they've actually recommended us, and we've had some blinding jobs. You know, through being recommended from them. So yeah, definitely a shout out to Pro Green. I'd love to get them on a podcast. Actually.
Yeah, it'd be good actually. Yeah, they know their stuff. We had another problem before. Someone tried to accuse us of ruining their roof. And the roof had sort of gone like a two-tone colour. Anyway, so we went. I spoke to Chris Cloak as well. We spoke to Pro Green, and the manufacturer of Algo Clear, Francois, I think his name is. He even got involved as well. He lives in France. You know, they all jumped in to do everything they could to help us out with this particular problem. And it turned out that it was old tiles, Redland tile that had been dipped in a slurry years ago, and over time the coating's going to fail anyway. Yeah. And then obviously the biocide will kind of help that along a little. But he said this: it's not us. That is not done from the chemical. They've been brilliant. So that was a good relationship to have with them.
But no, it's going back to your question as well, though. It's I just think for us, like I say, don't get me wrong, we turn over some good money from roof cleaning every year. We spend money on Google ads. Like I say, we have a good amount coming to us through recommendation, through our online presence, YouTube, stuff like that. But it's just part of the package for us. It's, window cleaning is bread and butter, day in, day out. That's our base point, And then we have all these other things on top that help. But like I say, the roof cleaning definitely brings in some good money, and we know where it's at. We don't want to spend any more money on Googles or anything like that to bring in more. We're quite happy with where it is. We have one team. I mean, at the moment, we haven't got one team full time, have we? It's just sporadic. But come sort of February, March, what we've noticed over the last 2 or 3 years is between that period, at the end of February, beginning of March, right up until sort of October, November, and then dies off for a couple of months, doesn't it?
So you get 1 to 2 teams out.
Yeah, but we still have enough kind of requests coming in to maybe have a few here and there, you know, through that time. So yeah, in answer to your question, the roof cleaning is that. And I mean, I've seen, obviously there's other businesses that have gone bust that are just solely on roof cleaning, because I think you're putting all your eggs in one basket. It's just a basket that's just too risky, you know.
The window cleaning is just, it's recurring, it's low to get item.
But what you've just said there as well, people chase a commercial. It's like the holy grail.
Yeah.
I just like a mix of it. At the end of the day, it's units of money, you know. As long as we hit our targets, then that's what we need to do. I don't care if it's Mrs. Jones, you know, that wants a £15 window clean done, or it's a £5,000 roof clean, you know, on a mansion. It just needs to stack up financially. And some of them big jobs, again, people think it's great, but sometimes they're good. Sometimes you make some great profit. Other times you do your balls on them, you know.
We've got commercial jobs that we've had for years that you sort of weary of putting the prices up because you don't want to lose them, but you're having to add a cluster of houses to the end of that day as well. So they're doing a big commercial job that should cover them for a day. Yeah. And because it's not quite hitting that value, you're having to stick a few houses on there as well.
And you know straight away, if you stuck that on the open market, with what people are charging now, it would just be undercut, you know. And that's the other thing, obviously, is then we know that these people are undercutting because they're not cleaning the frames, they're cleaning the glass, or whatever they can do to skip around it to just make it pay. And we just don't want to do that. We want to be a trusted source that does a good job and just gets paid fairly for it. So, yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. It's just opened up loads more questions as well, to be honest. So, do you do anything for your commercial clients? So, last year at Christmas, we'd always go around, take a card and a box of chocolates, but we've got kind of that big. Like, we're not massive, obviously. We're not.
If I'm honest, again, what you just said there, when I was a lot smaller, or we were a lot smaller, I'd give you chocolates and stuff, weren't it? When you went out,
really made it to the.
And then on the way there.
Question then.
Worst delivery man ever.
We'd run out like a box of chocolates and a card round to them then, but again, it's at that point now where. I mean, I don't think a lot of the companies we work for, I don't think it really be appreciated anyway. You know, you're not even a face in there.
To be honest, we've had that as well when we've taken them in and they're like, right, put them there. Like, oh, okay, cheers.
It's a bit awkward.
We've like travelled 40 minutes across the city to drop this off.
Yeah, there's no real loyalty either, is there? I mean, do you remember when we got all of the shops in Olney, and the guy had been cleaning them for 30 odd years? And he's an old boy, like, and he'd been doing them forever. I knew all the shop, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, we walked around with him for him to introduce us to all the customers. And he'd go in there, he'd say, oh, this is so-and-so, they're taking over the round from me. I'm retiring now. Oh, okay. No, like,
I've done 30 years. Yeah.
I felt sorry for the guy, you know. He sort of, that was his bread and butter for years, 30 odd years. And not one of them was sort of, I think there's one lady in one of the clothes shops down there that was, oh, sorry to see you going that, but everyone else, he was just, all he was the guy that done the windows.
That's horrible, isn't it? Really?
But then again, that comes down to, again, what we've said is that from our perspective, we're professional. We will do everything we can to provide a good service. But at the end of the day, you know, customers aren't your friends. And I'm not trying to put anyone down with that. It's just, it's a simple fact. So, I mean, there's been loads of times I've bought other window cleaners out that, I mean, there was that guy in Oak Ridge Park in Milton Keynes, do you remember? And I was walking around and he's like, number 12's having it off with number 2.
Oh, he knew everything.
And I have a cup of tea with her because she's friends with him. And I'm like, I'm here to clean your windows, you know? At the end of the day, no due respect.
The mentality's changed though, hasn't it? Where it was like that.
I think some people are like that. Yeah. You know, I've always been very much of the mindset, this isn't Steve's window cleaning, this is RedClean, which is its own living, breathing thing.
Which a certain amount of customers love that because they don't want to talk to you, they just want their windows clean and they want it to go, and that's kind of the customer that we're happy to serve.
And that's it, it's finding your ideal customer, isn't it? Because I've had it before where, again, in the early days, I remember this, it was probably within the first year of doing it, I had 3 of us in a van at the time, trying different things out, seeing what works, and 3 people in a van just doesn't. But anyway, there was 3 of us in a van, signed up a new customer. It was in a village, jumped out the van. Obviously, it's like jumping out, like 3 of you. You all got poles and you're all on it. And this woman's coming out going, oh my God, what's all this? And I was like, well, we're here to clean your windows. And she's like, oh, I don't want all this. What do you mean you don't want all this? The big van and the people and the poles. She goes, I want a little old man with a ladder on his roof. And she goes, no, I don't want this. And that was it. So I got it back in the van and went off. But yeah, you're right. You need the ideal clients that obviously respect the fact that you're a business, respect the fact that you're employing people, respect the fact that you go above and beyond to try and, you know, provide that service for them. You know, we're always here, we're always on time. You can pay us online, you can do, you know, all the stuff you know, the professional stuff, other than, you know, if you have got Bob down the road who might be sick for 9 weeks, or he might go on holiday for 4 weeks, you know, it's just not a reliable service, you know.
Yeah, that's what we get as well with buying, because we want to grow this year. Buying work is, if it's been priced, it's been the same price for 20 years, and it's too low. And even if we bought that business, which we think we're getting a great deal, quarter of them is going to, more than half will quit, because we're going to double the price straight away.
You get your natural drop-offs as well with people that have got a rapport with that that previous cleaner. Because we have that.
Yeah,
People don't like change your face today. And you change your face, a lot of people would just change and they'll go to a new face instead, which is daft. But people get used to what they get used to, don't they? So
we get that though. You're double the price of my current window cleaner. Well, why are you calling us? Because he doesn't show up, and he does it.
That's
mate. The amount of times, and again, I know this is pre-Google days, so I could do it, but it was. I remember being around at a house once, and it was like, back in the day, it was a 3-bed house with a conservatory, 15 quid. And I've gone round to obviously price it, and the lady, give it a price, she goes, "Oh my God, my last window cleaner was 7 quid." I said, "What happened to him?" She goes, "Oh, he passed away." I said, "Yeah, underworked and overpaid."
You know, I've said that a few times.
Overpaid and whatever it is. You know what I'm saying. But
overworked, underpaid.
There you go. Yeah, just clarify that. But it's true though. You know, it's unfortunately, you know, there are a lot of people that, especially, I know we've got the new breed of window cleaner now. We're all like logoed up on vans. We're all much more sort of professional looking, you know. But yeah, definitely in when I first started, there was only a handful of local window cleaners that were like this. Thankfully, I've always started that way. But yeah, you know, there was loads of guys still in the back of like Sierras with ladders.
I was driving around. It was a Sierra estate. We had a ladder on the roof. 2 of us out in a van. He used to pick me up in the morning with a couple of cans of Stella in the side. It was a beer money job.
But you know what? I've got nothing against that, and fair play to them people. It is a lifestyle job as well. Like you said, if you drop your kids off in the morning and you've got to pick them up at 3 o'clock, then that's perfect. You know, it's a low outlay to start. If they're happy to earn what they're happy to earn and have a good lifestyle, then that's
all these guys wanted to do though. All they wanted to do was go out, do enough houses just to earn enough money to go in the booze at night, and then they'd do that 6 days a week.
Well, we said this though. We said it earlier. What the beauty of window cleaning is, it can be whatever you want it to be. For myself, I've always been ambitious. You know, I'd look to other window cleaners, could see they had a couple of vans, they were new. I'd be like, right, I want to be like that. I'd get to that, and then I'd overcome that. You know, but like you say, it could be whatever you want to be. You could start at 9 o'clock, you could finish at 2 o'clock. Drop your kids off, pick your kids up. Do yourself 5 hours a day, earn yourself more than what minimum wage would be if you were in a shop or a 100%. Factory. Fair play. You're providing, you're doing what you're doing. You know, it can be whatever you want it to be. All I'm saying is that obviously in this day and age, there's so many more guys that are just professional outfits, and it is much more of a professional business. And again, you know, I've had it over the years, always just a window cleaner. People look down on it. They don't understand the mechanics of you're creating a decent business. And there is a decent business model there. Definitely getting more competitive, and it's getting more difficult, I'm sure. But like I say, we still grow in that. So, you know, there's definitely a market for it. But yeah, it's definitely shifted from where it was. You know, like you say, there is guys out there that still do. I don't know what your area's like, but I mean, we still see them down here because some people prefer ladders and squeegees.
Yeah, I pass trad work on to guys, you know, who are still doing the trad, because we just don't want to touch it.
Well, no, it shouldn't be done that way. I understand this is a big, you know, thing in the industry, but essentially it is. Working at height regulations stipulate if there's a safer method on the market to use than ladders, you use it. And that's it.
That's why they invented the water pole. So,
exactly. Yeah, so that's just the crux of it. It doesn't mean it's illegal. You don't have to, you know, but yeah, realistically, there's a better method. You should be using it. So,
Definitely as an entrepreneur, and I know I can see obviously the way you've grown as well. Do you get shiny penny syndrome where you just want to add more services? I get it all the time. I want to start adding internal office cleaning, and I just want to add the next thing and next thing.
Do you know what? Hand on heart, it's just about trying to make profit.
Yeah.
And at every point where we think we're going to be all right now, we could just sit back. It's going to roll
Something
in.
happens.
Something happens.
Yeah,
and then you think, right, we've got to go bigger. I've got to go bigger. And I'm not being funny. It's HMRC. They take so much and they cripple businesses, especially the businesses that are like our sizes, where you're not savvy enough to do offshore accounting. You haven't got accountants that are, you know, working full time on how they can just move this money about. You know, you're stuck in that position, and you know they've just made NI from 13.2% to 15%, I believe. It's just more strain, and for me that's the biggest thing. If we didn't have HMRC, or they took a lot less percentage, we probably wouldn't be building as big as we need to, because we'd have a decent life.
It cripples a lot of businesses.
It's like they don't want you to earn. It's like they want to suppress everybody and keep them at a certain level. Because the bigger you get, the more they're taking from you.
First 3 or 4 years, I was thinking, oh, don't worry about VAT. Don't worry about it. Obviously, when we got through the threshold, I was thinking, I won't be paying VAT because I'm making no money. I'm taking minimum wage home here myself, you know. And I was like, don't need to pay that. Don't worry, Mrs. We've got a letter from the VAT. Don't worry about that. Like, we won't be owing any VAT because we're making no money. We're living on the breadline. As we're growing, you know, reinvesting everything. And then it was like, yeah, by the way, you owe 20 grand or whatever. It's like, and you've got to pay it by this date. And it's like, oh, shit.
It's what keeps you up at night, you know. It's like, that's the stress of it for me. I mean, it doesn't keep me up at night anymore. It has done. Thankfully, I think, you know, as we spoke briefly about out there about mindset and how you deal with that stuff, and we can come on to that. You know, thankfully, I've done enough work on myself to be able to kind of handle that. Still doesn't mean I don't get anxiety. Still doesn't mean I don't get stressed. Still doesn't mean I have panic attacks, which I still do. But ultimately, you know, it's that you feel that you're working for. For me, as a big operator, if you want to call us a big operator, but the amount, you know, we do everything by the book. We have PAYE. We pay our VAT. You know, the VAT is mammoth. If I could pay myself my VAT every quarter.
I remember sitting down with my missus, and it was the best month we'd ever had. And it wasn't like amazing, but it was just the best month we'd ever had in terms of the amount of cleans we'd done. And she looked at the VAT bill and she cried and was like, we thought we could take a little bit out of the business this month, our first dividend, just to, because we've been taking the minimum directors kind of pay. And she just cried. I was like, fuck. And then I feel as a man, I've dragged her into my ideas and my thinking this is going to be a great idea, and she's come along for the journey, and I think, fuck, I'm not giving her the life that
it's hard,
she would get more going to work.
HMRC and VAT people are watching.
It is hard. It is hard. But what we've done over the last year and a half, which has massively helped, is we've got a business coach, and it's helped more from the fact of I can't teach. Not everything I'm going to teach her is right, and I don't know everything. But he's helped. Some of the stuff I've said, because she's my wife, she's like, oh, I'm not listening to it. Or like, she's not took it in. I'm not a great teacher in terms of teaching her everything that I know. So he's come in and he's taught us stuff that I've already told her, but because it's him. And
she listens.
She's like, oh yeah. I'm like, I told you that 2 years ago.
That's married life.
He's been amazing. Having a business coach has transformed our business, and it is expensive. And again, it's something that we could probably took that money out and had a holiday this year, but we've actually paid a business coach, and just the education that he's given us of knowing our numbers, setting targets, and we've always beat the stretch targets. And not this year, but the year before, we added 100 grand to our turnover in sales, so an extra 100 grand of window cleans, basically.
What, in a year's period?
Yeah, by having him. Obviously, he was called an action.
What information then was that then to add 100 grand? What sort of things was he giving you?
Mate,
or do I have to pay £1,000 to you for that? Or?
No, it was 500 quid a month, something like that. Okay, and he's called an action coach, so it's stuff you can do yourself, but it's like a personal trainer. You know? Even athletes, even like Usain Bolt, he was the fastest man in the world. He still had a coach telling him how to go faster, even though the coach can't run faster than him, but he's still, you know. And actually, my missus said at the beginning, we don't need. Is he running a multi-million-pound business? Has he run 10 million pound businesses? What does he know? And I'm like, well, it's not that. Like, Alex Ferguson wasn't Pele. He didn't score every goal, but he's the most successful manager ever. Just having that voice of reason, someone who's good at teaching and explaining and adapting to both myself. Like, he teaches me different to how he would teach her. It was just some structure and some accountability. So if you say, right, we definitely need to have a financial meeting every week. Like, we need to review our bank account, what's going in, what's going out, what went well, what didn't. You say you're going to do that, and then an emergency happens, so it never happened. It just wasn't happening. All this kind of structure that me and her were trying to do on our own, it just wasn't happening. When he came in and he's accountable, it's like, oh shit, John's here tomorrow at 12. We haven't reviewed all them figures. We're paying him 500 quid. Like, we're not going to go into him and go, sorry, we didn't do anything that you told us to do. He would just sack us off. So he just brought in that structure and that accountability. And although I didn't kind of want a coach either, because I like being an entrepreneur and being the big man on campus in my unit, it changed everything, you know. It just changed everything because you've got that structure and that accountability, and they have their own, because he's part of a franchise, they have their own kind of methods and model, and it works, you know.
I think that's the I can't think of her name now, because I've obviously done a lot of coaching, training, you know, and yes, it's just helped me in all areas. Doesn't make it any easier sometimes, but
definitely not.
it's but I think where we work well is because it is me and my brother. We actually have a sounding board between us. So when I was on my own, it did feel like kind of a lonely place, you know.
Yeah, it is. It still is.
But because of, you know, it's me and Chris, and like I say, it's not, some of the conversations aren't easy, but thankfully we're both supportive of each other. I know he'll, you know, call me whatever, and I'll call him. We're brothers at the end of the day, but you know, we're a good unit, and we every sort of step of the way, even when we've got into troubled waters, which is what we've done when we obviously had to liquidate. You know, we were there for each other, and we were able to sort of bounce ideas and get ourselves through it. So I think definitely being accountable. I think sometimes where you think someone could be accountable, like we had an accountant, for instance, that, you know, no disrespect, that they've done a lot of things for us, but they were far too much like our mums, really. They were too involved in, and the way they went about it. The accountants we have now is much more structured in terms of let's meet, let's talk about your numbers.
Yeah, that's what you need. That's what, again, that's relationships.
But they're much more encouraging about growth. Where the accountants we had before was all like, whoa, you know, pay this first, pay that. They're not business people. They're not like, you know.
That's what mine is at the moment. And I went with her because she rang me up and went, I've seen you set up a business. I thought, gosh, she's got to be good. She's noticed I've only just set up a business. I went with her. I didn't do any research. But yeah, the more I've gone, I know I need to upgrade.
Do you know what? It was causing me anxiety. Because, you know, like I say, they were great, but one of them in particular, you know, she'd be on my case, and I got it because she just wanted the best for us, and she wanted to see us get on. But it was crippling because it was like, oh, I'm doing this wrong, I'm doing it, you know, and it was stifling. So yeah, it's just good to have the right people, like the guys we've got now. So I suppose you could call him our coach if you like. So we're with a much bigger outfit. I sought them on the internet. They're actually from up north. I'm not too sure where they are, and it costs us a lot more money per quarter because we have like an hour's sit down.
Yeah. Well, if it's got the value,
quarter.
it's not
and he'll just be saying, you know, look, you know, we can see that you're doing this. This is great because you're kind of going up there, but at the same time, look at what you're spending here, and just I can see that in 12 months you're going to be at this point, and 6 months. It's just much more systematic, and you know, but it fills you with confidence, I suppose is the word, to just keep doing what you're doing, but obviously trying to watch your step as well as you're going. But yeah, it's definitely good to, like you say, like having a coach just to be accountable. It's just, you know, have you done this, so to speak? No. Do it, you know. You know,
it's just simple stuff, and when you're in the midst of it, and the pressure's on, and the vans are broke down, and then you've got this bill and stuff, you just need that person who's not emotionally involved to go. We've done this. We've done the. He wouldn't ever tell us kind of the business names, but you know, the student that I've just been with is in triple this, and they're working through it easily. You know, someone's already been there and done it, and I suppose like. For instance, we got a water bill. So for 3 years in our unit, we were paying like £4 a month for water. Yeah, bear in mind we're using like 5,000 litres a day or whatever, selling water and stuff. I was in cheat mode, yeah. And then we go, actually, you have got a water meter. It's a mile down the road. And we were like, oh shit, got a huge bill. At the same time, this 12 grand bill coming in. So obviously, having to break that to the missus, I fucked up. We've got a 12 grand water bill that we've got to pay. I was moving our RO system, and I don't even want to admit this on camera, but I'm going to. I drilled through a 3-phase power that was coming into our unit, blew my drill up, nearly electrocuted myself. Jesus. That was a 4 grand bill straight away, and I was like, look, I'm at my depth here. I'm fucking everything up. We've got this huge bill. I've just added to it. We're not hardly making any money as it is. Like, we're living kind of below our means. No, we're living just to our means without any luxuries kind of thing, just basic stuff. But then I'm like, I've gone to the business coach, look, I've really messed up. And it's just a soundboard, like, ring the water board and tell him you're going to pay it back 200 quid a month. Sorted. But in my head, I'm panicking. I'm thinking,
I think that's, again, talking about sort of a bit of mental health, if you want. It's the worst thing to understand, is because you've got so much going on in your head, you can't see the wood for the trees.
Yeah.
You know, I could sit here and I could systematically tell you A, B, C, D, because I can see it for what it is.
Yeah.
But in your head, you can't see that because you're emotionally attached. Well, what does it mean? This,
There's
all this stuff going on, and but yeah, that's definitely a good, a good, like I say, with a business coach, having that there as a sounding board, because it's a bit like therapy. You know, I've done a lot of training in NLP, hypnosis, of how to help people through their struggles, and I worked in that area just for a short time. I had some clients, and I helped some clients, so I got some good feedback anyway. But it's just the whole point of it is it's not for me to tell you how to overcome your stuff. It's for you to know how to overcome your stuff yourself.
The tools to overcome.
So it's just the art of it is to be able to try and get you there yourself by you understanding it. Because I could say, sort this out, do that. Sort this out, do that. Sort this out, do that. And you're going, no.
Yeah, it's all that. He does it all the time. How do you do it? Why do you do that?
And then all of a sudden you'll go, so if I sort this and do that, bang, you've got it.
He coaches you into doing it.
You're seeing a £16,000 bill in front of you, but you're not seeing that can be paid off
easily. Easily.
Because you're emotionally attached. Jesus, to have a 12 grand bill fall in when you haven't got much cash.
You don't know what you don't know as well. Like, I've never had that kind of bill come up and been in that situation. So every day is like that, really, to be honest.
Always a school day,
But we have the same, don't we? And like I say, I've got a short temper, I've got a short fuse, definitely getting better with age, done loads of training, understand it all, but still something could just fall on your mat that you don't know, you don't understand, bosh, you're off.
I've just thought of a great business idea for you with that. You go hypnotise every customer when you're knocking the doors.
Upsell works.
Yeah, you've got no canvassing fee. You can go knock it yourself.
Well, I'll let you into a secret. I think hypnosis is it's a great tool to have, but it's not like, clucking like a chicken and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Hypnosis is conversations. Hypnosis is this now. Like, if we're engaging in conversation, you're following an instruction, I'm following an instruction, whatever it is. That's what hypnosis is. So you can use it in sales, you can definitely use it, but it's not something as in, you're going to give me that contract.
Look into my eyes.
Yeah. But you can definitely get people onto a level and connect with them, and then hopefully do some good for them. But it's a good skill to have. I've not exercised it for many years, but. But for me, it was definitely brilliant to go through all of that stuff, because, as I say, for me, probably the most stressful time. I've had a couple of stressful times, but when we had to liquidate a few years ago, it wasn't a simple case of, oh, cool, do that. It was an 18-month process getting to that point, because we were shitting ourselves.
Yeah, of course.
We didn't set it up correctly from when Chris started with me. And we were always playing catch up, and we were always playing catch up with Her Majesty. And, for like 18 months, getting to the point where we actually liquidated, we were just trying to fight it. We were trying to make sure everything was, paid, and we were trying to, just keep it all together. But one thing I will say is, I know for a fact, if I didn't know what I know about the mind and my own self, I would have crumbled through that time. It is hideous, So, it's just saying, it's going off on a bit of a tangent, but it's definitely good to have that accountability and to have a sounding board. And thankfully, I think me and Chris have it between us. So, it sounds like it's been a good thing for you,
Definitely has. It has. Guys, I want to say we've got a couple of minutes left.
Is that all we've got?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Got a couple of minutes left.
That's gone quickly.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you sort of worry a bit about coming into podcasts and that, and what we're going to talk about, and then by the time it actually gets towards the end of it, you think we've hardly touched the surface.
We did actually want to talk about mental health.
Yeah, we did. I think maybe we'll have to put that on I'm not ready to cry down the microphone right now and start shaking. I'm not joking.
I think
we'll have to do that on another
wrap
day.
that up.
Yeah. But no, thanks for having us. It's, you know, I think even just the conversations we had before this as well, and there's so much probably that we could, and you guys are going to give back to the industry by doing the podcast and sharing your experiences, having different guests on, and yeah, thank you for getting me in at this early stage.
Thanks for coming. It's
having
lovely
the time with me.
Thanks for reaching out. I mean, I put a post out on LinkedIn last week, and Max reached out straight away. So here we are within a week. And
you know that was from your LinkedIn post of like the unit. I've been following that. So following the story of when you've come into the unit, it kind of now the algorithms on LinkedIn show me all your stuff that you're doing.
Good stuff.
And I was thinking that you'll be able to help me with that problem with the sub tank of your RO system. Like I say, I've been having that.
So yeah, you've just seen all of that, and so that makes sense to you then, the way that's set up. No.
I'm more confused now. I'm thinking, oh my god, that's a wicked RO system that you've got there.
Yeah, it's like I say, we invested in that, and if you want the guy's number, I can definitely give you it. Cool. But I know it's just not going to be a cheap fix for you. But hey, whatever it is, you know. But anyway. Thanks for coming today, Max.
Cheers, thank you guys
for watching.
Yeah, and hopefully you enjoyed that. And like Max says, we could have spoke for a lot longer, so maybe we'll do another podcast another time. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and thanks. See ya.
Bye-bye.